Two.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Two Guys Show. This is episode 46. We are with John Smith here, and it's gonna be a lot of fun chatting with him over the next 20 minutes. I'm Drew Minnock. I'm one of your co-hosts. You can find me on Twitter at TechMinnock, and you can find our podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud as well as our blog, twoguysandsomeipads.com. My co-host, as always, is.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you again. I am Brad Wade. You can find me on Twitter at TechBradWade. You can find me also on Instagram at Brad Wade. It's nice to have you with us today. And John, it's nice to see you. Can you introduce yourself for our audience so they know who we're talking with today?
Yeah, sure. My name is John Smith. I'm a technology integration specialist for Alliance City Schools in Ohio. And I guess if you look at my Twitter profile, I'm a husband, father, a tech integration specialist, a golfer, love golf, and I do teach a grad class for the Communicate Institute, and I'm an Apple Distinguished Educator, among some other little things. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'm the iPod teacher on Twitter.
Yes, we've chatted a little bit about golf and Nike getting out of the golf equipment business and how we're both not very happy about that.
Yeah, I'm still very, very sad about that.
Brad is too.
I am. I'm gonna have to just, like, get rid of all my Nike gear, I guess. My Nike golf gear. So.
I will use mine until they don't work anymore. I spent plenty of money last year, so I gotta wait.
Yeah, you got time to wear it. So.
That's too funny. Well, hey, talking about you being a father, I love how when we go to your webpage or your blog, it says iBooks written by my son. They cost money because he wants to buy toys.
That's right. That's right. You know what? I'm the iBooks guy, and so I've done free books with every student in class that I've ever worked with. And one day, my wife and I had been fed up with my son and his iPad, and enough of the YouTube videos. I was like, I can't watch one more kid putting together a Duplo on YouTube. I looked at my son. I was like, you have to do something else because I'm about to go nuts. And so he's like, well, what? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, let's think of something. I was like, let's write a book, And he can't write. He can't, But we worked on it together. And I asked him. I was like, what do you want to write about? And he goes, I don't know. And he's like, how about things I love? And I was like, okay, good. And so we started writing this book. And we're going through the whole book, and I can't remember how many pages it is. But by the time we got to the last page, he finally said, "I love my family." So I was like, "Well, at least we made the book." Legos were before us, Transformers were before us, but at least we made the book. So that was good. But yeah, I said to him, "Hey, do you want to give the book away for free? Like I say to all my students and classes I work with, leave a legacy and all that important stuff." Or I was like, "Do you want to sell it for money?" And he thought about it for a couple seconds, and he's like, "Me want to sell for money, Daddy." He's like, "I need toys." So I started laughing, and I said, "So this will be hashtag the new allowance. My son is going to publish his own books. If he wants to buy toys, then he has to make his own books." So.
Oh my gosh, I'd die. That is just awesome.
That is awesome.
The worst part about this, he's done two now. He's working on a third. But the second one was all about golf, and we sold that one too. It's being sold for money. And he upped the price. He wanted to sell it for more money. But I've sold. I had a book that I wrote myself that I tried to publish for money just to see if I could get this whole iBooks thing to work when it first came out. And I sold it for 99 cents. I was like, who wouldn't buy a book for 99 cents? Well, after 4 years, I've sold 4 copies of my own book. And so nobody cares about my books that cost money. But my son, he's made over like $40 already. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I was like,
I'm going to buy them.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy them so we can get some new toys.
Yeah, that's right. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That kid is killing me. That is so funny.
We're going to be in some serious trouble with him, but yeah, good trouble.
That's awesome. That's great stuff, man. So hey, tell me a little bit about what's your main, what do you do there, and what do you have your fingers in? I know you're with Flocabulary and stuff, so give us a quick rundown of what you do there in your school, and then what you use to really hook kids and you see as a difference maker.
Sure. So at Alliance, I always tease people. I say I don't have any responsibilities, whatsoever. I don't have a class. I don't have any kids. I don't have a lab. I have an office, and so my job really is to play with technology all day long, and learn how I'm going to use it with teachers in the classroom. So I'm kind of like 24/7 on-site PD for our district in my building. Each of our buildings has somebody similar to me, I guess. Some of the younger, like the elementary, kindergarten teachers that are like me, they have other responsibilities, labs, reading groups, things like that. So I'm pretty lucky that I get to do that. I remember one of my favorite stories is when Pixel Press first came out with their Floors app. I think I spent 4 hours in my office with the door locked because I was like, I'm going to make a video game, and that was it. Like that was my afternoon, so it worked out really good. But no, I do. I provide staff PD. It's going to be every Tuesday. Was it? Well, I forgot. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday this year. So every morning at 7 o'clock, I'm providing PD for the different grade level teams. So it's going to be really cool this year. And the same thing with last year. But yeah, I mean, I kind of have my hands in everything. Flocabulary, MC Educator. I love Flocabulary. Book Creator is one of my favorites. And so, I'm an ambassador with them. But I guess my thing to get kids hooked is just, I try to be real with the kids. So like whenever I go into classrooms with students, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but they always laugh and they seem to want me to come back. So I guess it isn't too bad. I always, I work with teachers and I go into their classrooms and I'm like, okay, today we're going to talk about iMovie, and I make it real personal with the kids. I make jokes, I make fun of myself, I take stupid selfies to put into different projects or whatever. And like if we're talking about science, I don't have a clue about science, and so I'll say that to the kids. Like we're doing an iMovie, and I'm like, you guys are gonna make an iMovie trailer on the atomic model, and I'm like, I don't know what any of that means, and I was like, I don't even care. I was like, that's up to you guys.
Right.
You guys got to figure that out. I was like, here's how iMovie works, and we just kind of have fun. So the kids have a good time, but I think if my thing that I've focused, I guess, on in the last few years especially is getting kids' work out there for other people to see. I feel like I've said it in a couple of my talks. I feel like teachers are kind of like Gollum from the Lord of the Rings, and I think that they feel like that work is that precious ring, and they hold on to it and they won't let anybody else touch it. And it's not like there's more to work than just keeping it. If we're lucky, the kid will take their work home and put it on their parents' fridge, and to me that's not good enough. I want to see the work on everybody's fridge. So I've used the term the global refrigerator before in some of my talks and things like that. I just want kids' work to be out there. iBooks is what we've chosen to do. It's what I latched on. I'm an Apple snob. I love Apple, and
yes.
So when Apple introduced iBooks Author, it was a no-brainer for me to jump in on that. And the same thing with Book Creator. When I first found out about Book Creator, it was a no-brainer. But there's so many ways you can get kids' work out there. I don't care what way you choose to do it. I'm tired of teachers hoarding all of the stuff and not sharing it with the world.
Yeah, it's almost
on point. Love it.
Like there's no excuses now because it's so easy to share with the world that now if you're not sharing, it's by choice, and that's really a sad choice. And like you said, we're just hoarding it. So like the more we can share kids' work all over the world outside of the classroom, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this year, we've had a couple of rough years here at the school. With the iPad rollout, we've done it slowly. So the very first year we did it, we just got the freshmen on board. Then the next year was freshmen, sophomores, and then the following year, we added another. And this is our first full year where we've had all 4 grade levels. So it's been we've had our ups and downs, but I really think technology-wise, this year is really going to be it's really going to be the year, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to do, and the teachers are looking forward to it too, and the teachers are getting more and more excited about things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is definitely awesome. And we can tell you're at school. We got people in the background. They're more than welcome to join in if they want to.
Love that.
It's all good. It's all
Wouldn't be
good.
the first time. We've had moms call in. We've had a mom call their son. The son said, "Mom, I'm on the Two Guys show. I can't talk right now." We almost just had a
Yeah.
last week.
I don't know if you cut this out, but that's my librarian. My office.
Definitely not going to. We love librarians.
We try not to do any editing.
Oh gosh.
Last week we were interviewing Jen Jones, and right before we went live, she goes, "Hold on, my mom just drove up." So we're like,
Have
"Have her come
on,
in."
have her on, but she wouldn't do it.
No,
Well,
that would have been so awesome. So
I love my librarian. She does a great job. But I tell you what, the fact that I have a locked door never means anything. So
that's awesome.
just
That makes me laugh.
turn the key. Come on in. Doesn't
Question about your PD with your with the different grade levels and stuff. So do you find things and discover new things and kind of take it to them, or do they come to you saying, "Hey, I want to solve this problem"? Do you have something that you recommend, or does it go both ways?
Yeah, kind of both. It kind of started. It started last year. The principal came to me, and he was like, "Hey, let's do some more PD type stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, this is great." And he's like, "I'll buy coffee and donuts." He's like, "If you do it in the morning someday." And it was kind of voluntary. So we called it Computers and Cronuts because I don't like coffee and I don't really want donuts. I don't need them, but I like cronuts. The croissant donut. So we called it Computers and Cronuts. And he never bought coffee or donuts or cronuts. And neither did I. So it was kind of a lie. But the teachers, they were free to come in if they wanted on a Friday morning at 7 o'clock. And so that was it. We gave district CEUs or whatever for attending. So I had anywhere between 6 and 10 on a given day, a given Friday, and it was good. And then this year, he was asking me, he's like, "Well, how do you want Computers and Cronuts to go?" And I was like, "Well, I'd like to keep it going." And he goes, "Well," and I was like, "But I'd like to make it mandatory without making it mandatory." I think we need more people to show up. Like the 6 that we've got are great, but we've got 48 other staff members that should come and check things out. And so this year we decided to make it 3 days a week. And so each like English language arts, they'll see me on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. And then, science will be the second and third Tuesdays of each, or the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. So it's going to be really cool. And to answer your question, sometimes I come prepared. I'm not particularly good at lesson plans. I do much better when I fly by the seat of my pants. So most times I don't really have a plan. I have a general idea. I just kind of go in and wing it. I say the same thing in my grad class. I'm like, this is not for me. This session is not for me. It's for you. So we're gonna do whatever it takes. And so a lot of times I'll go and I'll say, "Hey, here today we're gonna talk about Flocabulary, for example, or we're gonna talk about Book Creator." But sometimes I just ask them. I'll send out a survey. What do you guys want to talk about? What kind of tech tools do you want to learn? The same thing is going to happen this year, except I think with 3 days a week and every other week, we're going to take it a lot slower. It's going to be more of like, hey, here's the tool 1 week. Next week we're going to play with it. We're going to talk about it. The next week, you're going to tell me what you did in class with it. We're going to really get people comfortable because there's a lot of people in my building are open to things, but they're scared and a little frantic. And I think that's normal because teachers have so much to do with data collection and state testing and OTES in Ohio and whatnot. So I think taking it slow is going to be really good. About the only thing I ever say no to people is when they say to me, they're like, "What's the new cool app?" And I'm like,
No.
I'm not telling you that because you really don't want to know because I could give you 1,000 apps that you could use. I said, so instead, let's focus on what the problem is. What do you want your kids to learn? Or what are they doing in class now? And let's figure out a way to incorporate the technology to just make it seamless,
And that's something that Brad and I talk about all the time when we speak is, it's not about the device or whatever. If you're asking, hey, what device should I get or what device should I use, you're asking the wrong question. It's what problem do you want the kids to solve?
Right.
Once you can figure that out, then you can figure out which device fits you, and it's the same thing with any app or web tool. You don't want to just use an app to use an app, but use it to solve a problem or to get something that you're get something out of it that you want to accomplish.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, this has been hilarious and a lot of fun. So let's transition into some Twitter shout-outs.
Yeah.
Do you have 2 or 3 people that you'd like to go ahead and shout out on Twitter?
Yeah, you know what? I can always there's always one person I can go to when I need to bounce ideas off of her, and that's Leah Lacrosse. So big shout out to Leah. She's at L Lacrosse, LACROSSE, and so big shout out to Leah. She's always a good one to, like I said, bounce ideas off of. And you know, in terms of, I guess it's going to sound corny, but you know, like Flocabulary and Book Creator, you know, they're two of my best Twitter friends, and they really are good people. I haven't met somebody from Flocabulary that I don't absolutely enjoy talking to. And the same thing with the two Dans from Book Creator. So I got to give them both props because they're very open to listening to their customers. They're very open to anything really, and so I really do appreciate everything that they do. I mean, there's so many. I wish I could name everybody. There's so many people that I could talk to talk about on Twitter. But I mean, I think those three are some of my biggest supporters and the people that I can go to with ideas and questions.
That's awesome. Brad, you want to go ahead and go next?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. Yeah, so I have a couple people that I'm going to shout out from. They're from Cypress Fairbanks. You know, Drew and I, they're in Houston, Texas. You know, I've been there a lot. Drew and I were just there a couple weeks ago. One is Becky Cook. She's the Instructional Technology Director for the district. You can find her at bcook922. This is her right there, Becky Cook. She's awesome. She is leading a large district. Another one is her name is Jamay. She also works there at the ISD, or the co-op, as some places call it. She's awesome. Does a lot of presentations on technology as well. Good people to follow. You can find her at Jamay, which is Jamay, Mayuki, Mayuki. So a couple of our friends from Cypress Fairbanks in the Houston, Texas area.
Awesome. The couple I'll shout out is from a recent visit that we also had in Colton Joint Unified School District outside of Los Angeles. One of them is a superintendent who was just an awesome, super passionate guy.
Awesome.
Just seems like he'd be a ton of fun to work for. And he's actually having a contest of how many followers he can get with the other superintendents in the area, it sounded like. So, like, we really want to push it and get him that victory. So,
that's funny.
At Jerry, Jerry Almendarez, probably butchered that, and I apologize.
Almendarez, yeah. Almendarez.
Almendarez. And then the last one is one of the people that were responsible for bringing us out there, and that's Dr. Hyder. And his Twitter handle is at HYDEREDD. So big shout out to those guys. It was awesome to meet with them and to work with their district, and they're super passionate people about enhancing the lives of their students.
Cool.
So playlist. John, we told you you're going to need one song for your playlist, and you're like, boom, I have that. So
yeah.
So what's a song that you are rocking out to right now?
I am a huge fan of Disturbed's cover of Sounds of Silence. So I like all kinds of music, but that Disturbed song really I can't stop listening to it.
100% agree. I have that one on mine, and I've listened to it a lot lately. So
Awesome.
Brad, do you want to go ahead and shout yours out?
All right, yeah, I'm just going back to my playlist, and I've shouted out a lot of my favorites recently, and running out of a lot of new ones. So I'm going to go back to a one that is not that old, but I love it. It's "Confident" by Demi Lovato. I know it's good. I love it. It's upbeat. What I love is her message. She just like, you know what, I'm me, and finally, she's just be like, you know what, I've been bullied all my life, and tough. I'm tired of it. I'm going to be me. This is who I am. If you're in my circle and you accept me for who I am, we're good. If not, that's okay. I'm not going to let you bring me down. So anyways, Drew. That's,
John, if you gotta meet Brad in person. He's that guy who you drive next to him. He's by himself, and he's just rocking out in the car. Like, he's that guy, and he doesn't care. Whether it's singing Britney Spears at the top of his lungs or Disturbed, it doesn't matter.
What? It's so funny because I have gotten so many links to like videos on Facebook and Instagram of people just singing in the car, and people are like, hey, this reminds me of you. This reminds me of you. Hey, I thought of you when I saw that, and I'll watch it. Like, there's a guy on YouTube right now. It already had over 300,000 views. This was a couple weeks ago. Can't remember his name, but he's sitting there. His mom's driving him to school, and he's like, he's like singing, lip singing all these songs, and he just like goes crazy, and it's good. So that's definitely my style.
Too funny. The one I'll stick with, one of my favorite bands who also had a new album come out recently. It's Need to Breathe, and this song is Let's Stay Home Tonight. So that's the one that I'll shout out. The whole album's pretty awesome, but that's the one I'll go to this week. Hey, John, thanks a lot, man, for joining us on your lunch break. It was great to chat with you and laugh and have a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll connect a lot more in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you having me.
All right, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Two Guys Show with John Smith, ADE from Ohio. You can, if you have any questions for us, please reach out to us through Twitter. You can get all our information on twoguysandsomeipads.com. If you have any questions for us about coming and speaking at a conference or working with you, just give us a shout. We'd love to come work with you. Drew and I go all over the world, so we love visiting and meeting with people all over the place as much as we can. So thank you again for joining us. Drew, it's always a pleasure. John, thanks again. And Drew, where can they find this?
You can find this on SoundCloud or on iTunes. Also, check out our blog, twoguysandsomeipads.com, and make sure you head over to John's blog and buy his son's books so he can get some toys.
That's
Absolutely.
right. He hasn't had anything since Christmas, so help the poor kid out.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Make sure you get that book so his son can get some toys.
Thanks, John.
All right, thanks, guys.